It is still Mental Health Awareness Month. We talk more about that and introduce you to a professional in training. We'll tell you about an event happening this weekend that honors military veterans and a little inspiration in North Baton Rouge. Roll it, Kyle. Fantastic to be back with you again to talk about a very important topic, mental health. Mental Health Awareness Month is going on right now. And my good friend, my girl, Dr. Katie Fetzer is here with us right now. She is one of the owners of the Wellness Studio right here in Baton Rouge. You can check them out online at surprisinglywell.com. And it's good to see you. I can't wait until the second segment because we really have a treat for everyone. So, Mental Health Awareness Month, I enjoy talking about this because you turn on the news any morning and you see the impact of mental illness across our country. So first, your perspective on where we are as a country addressing mental health.
Absolutely. So first, anytime we're talking about mental health, I want to kind of frame and give us context to be able to frame this discussion in. We are currently living in, as we know, the digital age. And the digital age has put us in a time where, as human beings, we're being bombarded with an excessive amount of information. And what's happening is what we define as mentally healthy or well has evolved and changed. And the main reason for that is underpinning everything is our ability to discern truth and understand and cognitively be able to process and dispense information from our brains that's not true. And so really what we're talking about is the ability to think critically about something before our brain and minds are absorbing it. The reason that's become such an important topic to talk about when we're talking about mental health is because the digital age is not going anywhere. We are living in it. If anything, it's, as we know, artificial intelligence is now happening, correct. And so when we talk about the minds of both youth, children, and adults, digital self-care is something that's incredibly important. And so when we talk about the state of mental health and where we're in, I mean, certainly in Louisiana, we're facing a large problem. We recently just learned that 62% of youth who have major depression are not accessing mental health services. And so that's a major problem. So if we talk about the amount of children that are facing mental health issues, but then not getting support, now why that is, it's multifaceted and there's many reasons, but one of the biggest things they're pointing to is access and the insurance resources. And that's a fight and an issue that we've been, honestly, it feels like a point of frustration because it feels like we're talking about it a lot, but we're not seeing the solutions that are actually being implemented.
I agree with you. I was moving around town yesterday and saw someone on the side of, I won't say which road, but on the side of one of the roads here, someone clearly having some kind of an episode. And I thought to myself, with the money we waste on things that never impact the American public, why does someone like that in our country have to be walking around with no assistance?
Absolutely.
Why isn't that a priority?
Exactly. I would love to know. I did my research on policymaking, and especially when it comes to issues surrounding mental health. And we live in a state, and this is certainly not me bashing, I think we need to come together as a team. So I'm certainly not pointing fingers. It's a perfect storm. But one of the things that we're seeing is that there's a lot of intuition-based policies as opposed to evidence-based policy. And we live in a state in which that's still happening. And so there's a lot of busyness that's going on, and sometimes issues are not made with evidence-based and taking the time to do that. And so as a result, we have a lot of policies that are either not effective or, especially when it talks about insurance and resources, you see hospitals that are closing and mental health hospitals that have closed under certain leadership, and it's created the discharge of a lot of individuals that were in a place where they maybe were getting services and now they're not.
Well, the intersection of mental illness and gun violence is a thing that we don't want to talk about. There are increasing numbers of people, younger and older, who have issues then go get an AR-15 and fire upon
Absolutely,
the public.
yeah.
There was one earlier this week in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so we've seen people go into schools now, and there's a lot of lip service given to
Exactly.
this subject, but
Yeah.
no actual legislation that addresses it.
Amen. Yes, and that's one of the reasons I love coming on the Clay Young Show, because you bring about these issues to light while talking about accurate, educated information, as opposed to just showing an issue and just
bashing
repeating
people,
a real right.
Well,
and so you make a great point. Yeah.
What I want to do is we'll come back and talk more about Mental Health Awareness Month and talk to Dr. Fetzer about what being mentally healthy is. What does that look like? If we get a professional to define it. And then we have a guest, a treat for you. Don't want to give you any hints, but this is going to be fantastic. This will be the second time we have done this on the show, and I think that it's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, our guest is here. And coming up, we'll tell you about an event taking place this weekend, Sunday at Beausoleil, benefiting military veterans, and District Attorney Hiller Moore is here to talk with us about that. More of the Clay Young Show. Give me 2 minutes, right back. So what does it mean to be mentally healthy? Let's ask the doctor. Dr. Fetzer is here with us for another segment. What is mentally healthy?
Sure. So obviously that's going to look different depending on the individual and the unique, circumstances in their lives. However, as a whole, somebody whose cognitions and thoughts and feelings are congruent, but also grounded in what we would identify to be truth.
Okay.
Whenever mental illness, especially top-rated disorders like anxiety disorders and depression, one of the biggest symptoms or driving forces behind it is usually irrational beliefs or irrational thinking that over time can develop and tend to get kind of stuck. And it could be based on someone's it's nature and nurture, of course, but it could be based on the way someone's learning something. So in therapy, I like to say, I'm going to help you unlearn things as much as I'm going to help you learn them. Because a lot of times we have to unlearn a lot of things. But that definition of certainly involving, because we are in the digital age, as I mentioned, so our ability to discern truth from mistruth, I think, is a big factor in being mentally healthy.
I really love the fact that society is opening up to the discussion about mental health, and more people are comfortable talking about their issues. Just recently, Dwayne Johnson, who is on top of the world, successful big movie star, fantastic businessman, talked about his own battles with depression. And I like to tell people it's not a problem to go see a therapist. If your tooth aches, you'll go see a dentist. If you break a bone, you go see a medical doctor. If something's going on here, you go to a clinician, a medical person who can help you get that right. So, and I love that Lamar Advertising is running these "You Are Enough" graphics on billboards here. So
that
shout
helps.
out to Lamar for people need reassurance.
Stuff like that really does help.
Speaking of reassurance, we have a guest on the set.
We do.
And I'm not talking about Hiller. He's in the next segment, but I think I'm going to like this guest a lot more.
Poor Hiller.
So let's introduce everybody to our guest.
Okay. So,
how about this?
Big girl. So this is Nana Bell. Nana Bell is a therapy dog in training. There's a big difference between therapy and service and emotional support dogs. This is a therapy dog. She will go through training and certification to visit hospitals, to work with individuals who are terminally ill or fighting illness, not physically well, and her sole purpose is to bring comfort to those lives that she touches, while also being one of the loves of my life and family.
Tell everybody why you chose a St. Bernard.
Absolutely. So St. Bernards are top-rated therapy dogs. They were bred on the Swiss and Italian border to be hospice dogs. So there's a lot of myths surrounding this breed. One of them being that they are primarily rescue dogs. A lot of people imagine them with the barrel around their neck. The barrel around their neck only started happening because an artist drew it. And that piece of art became famous. So then everyone started putting barrels around saints' necks, but they never had those.
Okay.
So it was from a piece of art that influenced that. But they were bred to lay with people as they die from conditions that they were facing. And how calm you see Nana to be is how calm she should be throughout her life. Obviously, she'll still be this happy puppy and have some spunkiness to her, hopefully. But this is really just the nature of this breed, which is why they're so great to be therapy dogs.
Holy cow.
I know.
She is gorgeous. She looks asleep right now.
She might be a little nervous.
That's okay. That's okay. So let's talk about when she is fully active
Sure.
working with the Wellness Studio, what her
Absolutely.
responsibilities will be.
Okay, so we have the Wellness Studio recently launched an intensive outpatient program for individuals battling cancer or a terminal illness. Nana will be present for our groups unless someone elects for her not to be. That it would obviously be the patient's and the client's decision, but she will be there to bring comfort to those who are needing support and just needing some love, extra love and support.
That is awesome. How long do I have left in segment? Okay, I just want people to know that you guys are really doing such great work here. Go to the
Thank you,
website,
Clay.
surprisinglywell.com. Every time I'm around y'all, I'm more and more impressed
Thank
and
you,
so proud of you and
Clay.
MK for what y'all are doing. And Nana can come back anytime.
Thank you.
And you can
She
come
appreciates
too.
it.
All right.
Thanks for having us.
So listen, we're going to talk about an event taking place this weekend. This will be the 9th edition of it. We have done it since 2013, benefiting military veterans and first responders. There's a new location for it this year. Our district attorney, great friend of the show, really good guy, is going to be here to talk about some families that we're going to be highlighting at this year's Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. Back in just a moment. This flag is emblematic of an event that we're having this Sunday at 4 p.m. at Beausoleil Coastal Cuisine on Jefferson Highway. It's in Bocage, right next to Calvin's, where you get all that great chicken salad. It's called Smoke 'em If You Got 'em. This is the 9th year we've done it. We skipped 2020 because of the pandemic. Our presenting sponsor is Mockler Beverage. Other sponsors include Geico, Guarantee Media, Beausoleil, of course, Pest Stop, your do-it-yourself pest control solution, and CYE. This year's event is benefiting the Special Forces Charitable Trust. They support the families of Special Forces from really around the country. Sometimes they come home and their issues, sometimes they don't make it home and their families are in need of support, and this great organization does that. Tickets are $100 at the door. It is a full donation to the organization. There will be live music, a live and silent auction. There'll be food out there, and it's going to be a great time. District Attorney Hiller Moore is here with us on set to talk about Smoke 'em, who's been to most of the events, and I want to jump right into one of the reasons we do this. It's because in this country, there is a big issue with supporting veterans, black, white, male, female, Hispanic, Jew, Christian, whatever. 22 veterans a day, on average, commit suicide in America. 22 a day. And many that come home maimed, either externally or internally. Yep. And so we support organizations that help them and their families. And you have a story about a family that'll be in attendance with us this Sunday.
Yeah, we learned about this gentleman, actually a hero, just a week or two ago, and that he passed away at age 77. But this was a young man, Martin Jerry Fritcher Jr., who lived in Baton Rouge all of his life, graduated Broadmoor, got a job at Dow, and the Vietnam War was going on. He said, you know what, I need to volunteer to defend my country. He volunteered, went to the Marine Corps, immediately shipped to Vietnam, and on November 6, 1967, the Marine behind him stepped on a landmine, and the landmine exploded, killing that Marine. But the shrapnel went through this man's body all the way through to his brain. He was in a coma for 30 days, and he has never been able to regain full life. His parents were told that in 1967, you take your son home, he's going to be like a vegetable, and just make the best for him. They both quit their jobs, the parents. They both cared for this hero, and they brought him back as much as he could be brought back. They passed away, and his sisters, 3 sisters, helped him. But he really lived a life by himself, and was not able to really express himself. And so he was really trapped in his body, but could understand and couldn't express himself. So this is a guy who, and you know, Vietnam veterans generally have not received the respect that they deserve.
Correct.
And when we found about this gem of a person, that's when we talked and said we really need to honor him.
Yeah, his family is going to be there, and we'll take some time in the program to have you talk about them. These are some pictures from some of the previous years' events that we've done. That picture of the lady in the white top, that's Taya Kyle. Taya Kyle is the widow of Chris Kyle. We benefited the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, I think 4 of the 8 years that the event has been going on. And you see some of the auction items that we have there. This year, that was at Ben 77 in Perkins Road. This year, it's going to be at Beausoleil, as I said. You know, Hiller, one of the things about the event that I always enjoy every year we do it is how much it makes people put back to the top of their mind the way veterans are treated here.
Yeah.
So, why hasn't it gotten better over the years, man?
I just think that we have to keep bringing attention to it, because it's that one day when you take the time to think about it, and when you there with those veterans, you saw them crying.
Yeah.
When we recognized them. Never had that chance to be recognized before, but for them to feel the gratitude, it's something that we have to do, and I appreciate what you have done to bring this to the forefront.
Well, it's amazing. One of the other sponsors for the event is Don Juan Cigar Company and Don Juan Cigar Bar. When you enter the event, if you are a cigar enthusiast, you will get one of these. This is the Cohiba Blue. Can I get number 2? Cohiba Blue. When you walk in, you'll get one of these babies right here. I love opening a box for the first time. My. Not Vanna White over here, but there you go. That's the cigar you get when you come into Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Thank you, Hiller, for coming on and talking about
Appreciate
this
it, man.
Sunday. Up next, we'll tell you about an investment in North Baton Rouge that's just inspirational. So a few weeks ago, a group of invested citizens got together for a groundbreaking, and the groundbreaking concerned an investment in North Baton Rouge. You know, we talk a lot about what the kids and young people in our community are dealing with, and people often say they don't have anything to do. That's what leads them to the crime and the things that they get into. So a few weeks ago, we announced to the public something that we consider to be quite inspirational. It's the Inspiration Center. It'll be in Howell Park. Let's talk a little bit about where this concept came from. There is a map showing you exactly where it is, right in the center of North Baton Rouge. This is a picture of the Cop House, community outpost in St. Cloud, Minnesota. This is a picture of the At Promise Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's hold for a second here. The Cop House in St. Cloud, Minnesota is right in the center of an area of town where crime was real. That facility has a learning center, computer labs. They've got food in there for kids, after-school programs, mentorship, and the St. Cloud Police Department actually has offices within the building, so they integrate with the community. In Atlanta, the At Promise centers have basketball. They've got recording studio bays. Let's go back to that list of the benefits there, Kyle. And they've got basketball. They've got the recording studio bays. They also do an assessment to see what's happening with the kids, what are they missing, you know, what they can do to help them. Here are some of the combined results of the At Promise centers and the Cop House in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Let's go to that next one. This is just calls for service in the last 6 months around where the Inspiration Center will stand. And the next one, that's shooting incidents within a mile of where the building will be. Here's another version of that. So we broke ground on this facility a few weeks ago and are working to put these amenities there. The state has given the project some money. There is the blueprint showing you that it's about 34,000 square feet, a little north of that. Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Louisiana will move in and operate the facility, and it is our hope that this will change lives. Here is a video from that groundbreaking ceremony for the Inspiration Center and thoughts from a list of the speakers there.
Share with you is there's a story about an African community. And in this community, when you greet someone, you don't say, "How are you doing?" or you don't ask, "How was your day?" When they greet, they ask, "And how are the children? Are the children well?" This facility provides services to help the children.
We know that our children too often lack safe spaces and the opportunity to engage in constructive, positive activities. That's what this is about.
This groundbreaking ceremony is just the beginning of a bright future for this facility and for the families who will benefit from the programs and all the opportunities here.
We are going to be able to serve the young people in a world-class building with excellent programs, quality, impactful programs like STEM, education, character and leadership development, career and workforce development, health and life skills. We're going to ensure that they graduate on time and that they have a plan for the future.
To the youth, I want you to know this is for you. These individuals had you in mind.
This part of Baton Rouge is forever the source of criticism, derision, and people who don't want to see resources get here. We can't arrest our way out of our problems. Every young person who lives in this community and communities like it deserve a shot. We want this building to be a shot for them. The outcome is up to them, but they deserve a shot.
And there could be nothing more profound for me than to be where I started to help those that need help.
You see shovels behind us. Today is a day of action. Today is a day that you have the opportunity in this community to get involved and being part of the solution.
It's clear that no single person, group, or agency can solve complex issues in a silo.
This park will also serve as an example of how a well-designed park and programs can transform our community.
This Inspiration Center will not only provide services, but help, hope, love, and inspiration to this community so that one day, when we're in this community and someone asks us, and how are the children, that we can say, the children are well. Thank you.
So construction on the building is set to begin later this year. It's a partnership of the Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice Foundation, Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Louisiana, BREC, the state of Louisiana, the city of Baton Rouge, and we're excited about this. A long way to go with the project, but as you heard there, the investment is in the children, and that's the best investment we can make. And this is one of the hard hats that were so popular at the groundbreaking. Give me those cigars there, Scotty. So, and don't forget, this Sunday, smoke them if you got them. Beausoleil, Coastal Cuisine. It's going to be a great event benefiting Special Forces Charitable Trust. You see all the sponsors there. It's going to be gorgeous on Sunday, and I hope to see you at Smoke 'em if you got them to give you one of these. Have a great weekend.